Are you live? Hey. What is that? Yep, there we go. What's going on, guys? We've got a very weird one for you tonight. I'll talk for a while as more people get in here. I know it sent out that little alert, so hopefully people start seeing that and hopping in soon. We're making a version of Weisswurst today, and we're drinking a sour ale. So I'm doing all sorts of things that, I don't know, probably not the best idea. Weisswurst traditionally is a German sausage that's made out of veal. One of the things that gives it a very distinctive look is the fact that veal, especially when boiled, cooks very, very white. I couldn't get any veal. I looked at every store around here. Whole Foods had some, but not until maybe Thursday at best. No local butcher shops had any. I'm in Wichita, so I tried all of the ones that are customer of ours. I even tried a few other like smaller foreign shops, Yakub Market, Thai Bin. Nobody carries veal, apparently, or even rose veal. For those of you that you don't know, I'm sure you all know. Veal is a young calf that is restricted with its movements, that does some different things with the meat, makes it very tender, changes the color of it. I have some ethical problems with veal. That's not why we don't have veal. We only don't have veal because I couldn't get it. My ethical problems aren't with the fact that it's a calf. My ethical problems are the fact that they restrict its movements. So we're gonna try and make something that's a close approximation of Weisswurst. I have our Weisswurst seasoning over here. It is an extremely traditional seasoning. Here are the ingredients: salt, dextrose, corn syrup, spices, including mustard seed and onion powder. So it's a very, very limited flavor. There's not gonna be a ton of things going on here. I've made Weisswurst before and I really like it. One of the things that it's best with is any type of mustard. So I was going to try the Nashville Hot Spice Mustard. This is from Terrapin Ridge Farms. It's really, really good. It's a little bit sweet, but it does work really well with Weisswurst. We're gonna see how we do with whatever this amalgamation I'm making here is. I've got just some beef chuck and I've got some chicken thighs. What am I trying to do with the chicken thighs? I'm trying to make it at least a little bit whiter or lighter. I've also got some tubed hog casings. We're gonna use our 11-pound sausage stuff. We're gonna use our 22 grinder, knives, seasonings, and we're gonna do the best we can. I'm shocked that nobody had any veal. I mean, I looked absolutely everywhere for it and it was not to be found. My beer is a Prairie Artisan Rainbow Sherbet. So, see the beard, the big, slightly overweight, and this in my hand. Those things don't really go together, at least for me, but I do love a sour. Sour ale is really good for me. So I'm just gonna cut all of this into nice long strips. I've got our one-shot attachment here, and I've got the 3/16 plate on the outside. So we're gonna get all this grinding done in absolutely no time. We're gonna fly through this stuff. And so if anyone has any questions, I think chat is working. Oh, it is, yep. Dwight's here again, nice to see you. You're supposed to eat it with beer before lunch. First a Kamala shirt, now a rainbow beer. His Kamala shirt comment is, I bought a random shirt, and it really was random, at Goodwill to make my Shark Attack costume for Halloween. And my girlfriend looked at it and goes, "Did you mean to buy a Kamala 2024 shirt?" And I didn't. Couldn't tell what it was. I think it was like her signature. Had no idea that's what it said, so it was just a funny little accident. But I laughed, at least. I found it funny. Let's see if we can get maybe that out of the way and some things more in frame. Move that out of here. I think that looks a little bit better. All right, so we're gonna get the grinding done. I'm gonna put a piece of beef down, then a piece of chicken, piece of beef, piece of chicken. And we're gonna do all hand mixing. There's no reason to mess up the 50-pound meat mixer with such a small batch. I mean, this is gonna be 8 pounds, 10 at the most. And the nice thing about this one shot is it does both grinds in a single pass. So I only have to grind once. I think it's my favorite thing new thing at Walton's in a long time. It makes making sausage so much easier. Because we're no longer having to freeze meat. We're no longer having to do that second grind that can take forever. We're just going a single time through. At the end, I'm just gonna grab a little handful of it, pass it back through. And there we go. We've got, I'm gonna guess about 8 pounds. Final grind in just a minute or two. That is the nice thing about these one shots. Honestly, the cleanup from doing things like this takes longer than the grinding does. It's incredibly fast. All right, well, what beers are you guys drinking? I normally am a big Miller Lite and Dos Equis guy, but I kind of out Miller Lighted myself yesterday with playing golf in the morning, and then how my football team did not cause me to stop drinking at all. I'm a Redskins or Commanders fan, and boy, was that a rough one. Not good. Ugh. I've got my casing soaking, and outside, that's a lot of noise, and outside I'm doing a pot of boiling water on our side sear box for the Camp Chef. I don't have a stove in here or any way to heat up water, so we're just gonna do it out there. It's not probably gonna get to boiling, and we wanna keep these, we wouldn't really want it boiling anyways. 190 is about as hot as we would want the water to cook any type of sausage in. You don't wanna put it in boiling water. It really does do some bad stuff to the casings. So we're gonna weigh how much we've got right here. We're at 8.2, but this weighs 1.7, so we're at 6.5 pounds. We need to weigh out the correct amount of this seasoning for 6.5 pounds. I've got my trusty Escali digital precision scale. If you're gonna make smaller batches, this is a great scale to use. It's very accurate at low weights. And we have 1.4 pounds here. So we're just quickly gonna do a little bit of math, nothing too difficult. I've got 1.4 divided by 25. That's gonna give me how many pounds of seasoning I need per pound of meat. And I just said I had 6.5. 1.4 divided by 25 times 6.5, so that tells me it is 0.364. I'll multiply that by 16 so I can get the ounces. I need 5.8 ounces of the seasoning. I'm not adding any other additives. This is super easy. You can see how fine that is because there's nothing crazy in here. Dextrose corn syrup solids, spices including mustard seed and onion powder. Like I said, very basic, very clean. We're just gonna put all of that right in there. Glove back, glove back up. That ranks high on the get up in the air and breathe in scale. The worst of all of our seasonings to do that is Dragon's Breath. Technically it's a kippered beef, but it's a jerky seasoning basically. And that one, good Lord, it gets up in the air and gets in your back of your throat and you are coughing and it's so hot. It really is a pain in the butt, but it makes delicious jerky. So a little bit of pain for some good taste. It's worth it. It has been a long time since I've had anything from Prairie or Artisan Ales. People who've been fans for a long time will remember when Austin and I used to start every podcast with, we'd both go pick up a beer, something different that we hadn't tried before, and we'd review the beer at the start of the podcast. Loved that. That was so much fun, but for a whole bevy of reasons, we had to stop doing that. All right. This is a fresh sausage. I'm not adding any nitrite or nitrates. If anyone has any questions on how nitrates work, or the difference between nitrites and nitrates, I just did a blog post on waltons.com. You can go to waltons.com, and then at the top, under more, the bottom one is blogs there. I think I did a really good job of breaking it down, how they differ, and then what their purposes are, how they actually cure the meat. Because it's not technically the nitrites that cure the meat. It's something that happens when the nitrates start breaking down. So I think that'd be an interesting read for any of you who are a little bit more science inclined, meat nerds, for lack of a better term. All right, so I've got everything nice and mixed here. I don't want to start getting too much protein extraction. So we're gonna go ahead and get chicken on my laptop. That's awesome. That'll be fun to clean up later. I took my glove off and a couple of huge pieces of chicken just went flying right onto my laptop. This is our 11-pound stuffer. I've got the suction cup feet on it, if you can see that. Let me get this out of the way. Suction cup feet on it so it doesn't rock back and forth too much during stuffing. Makes it so I don't need a second person to hold anything down. I can do it all by myself. Everything has already been pre-white oiled and pre-sanitized. For white oil, I just use the regular white oil that we sell. For sanitizer, I like the either wipes that we sell or the hard surface sanitizer from Maxim. It's a spray sanitizer. You spray it on, wait 60 seconds, and then you're good to go. Is that, oh, I thought that was Deep Woods Butcher for a second. Once I've got this in the hot water, we will go ahead and I'll start looking at chat, but it's hard to do both things at once. Sometimes I struggle just keeping everything in frame. Looks like we're pretty good here, thank God, because I'm not moving that once it's down like that. You can see the whole island is moving with it. I've got these tubed hog casings that have been soaking in hot water. So these are just natural hog casings. They're 30-32, and they come on this sleeve. So because they require extra processing, only the best of the casings are selected for this. So we sell hog casings three ways. We sell them in home packs, we sell them in 100-yard hanks, and then we sell them like this. The shortest runs and the ones with the most whiskers and the most problems are gonna be in those home packs. It's just the way it goes. They're the least expensive. Then the 100-yard hanks will be a little bit better, and then the premium ones are selected for this. So one of the advantages, other than them being a little bit better of a casing, is the ease with which these get loaded on. Simply slide that on and pull it, and you get most of the way on. Usually you get all of it, but apparently I'm a little off today. And there we go. We've got a whole run of casings stuck on there. We can just start stuffing. 11-pound stuffer's got 2 speeds. The top gear is only for taking the piston up and down, so to either quick back out so you can refill, or just to get your piston down to where it's contacting with the meat. Once it's there, switch it to your lower gear. Trying to stuff off your top gear is going to damage your gearbox, so don't do that. So I'm just gonna keep everything right up against it. As soon as, there we go. And we're gonna slightly understuff all of this because I am gonna twist these up into links before we put them into the hot water. So a little bit of an understuffed casing is a lot easier to deal with than an overstuffed casing. Once you overstuff a casing, that's it. It is going to be a pain in the butt to deal with. But understuffed casing, you just twist it a few more times and you're good to go. Another good thing to talk about right here is casing smell. It's not as big a deal at this time of the year, but in the summer, you could get some casings that are perfectly good. There's nothing wrong with them, but they might have a pretty strong odor to them. Nothing wrong with the casing. It is a natural product that is just gonna happen. They can smell pretty bad and still be totally fine. If you've ever smelled truly spoiled casings, there's almost not another smell in the world to compare it to. It is vile. I worked at places in the past that had dead animals in the walls. They're not even close to as bad as what a spoiled hog casing smells like. It is a vile smell. I'm gonna grab my Walton's stuffer flusher eggs right here. I'm just gonna quickly sanitize them. We're gonna wait 60 seconds for that to do its job, and I will check out chat, see if there's anything I'm missing. Imagine cooking a dish that everyone who eats it experiences your emotions exactly as you feel them. What would you make, and how would you, and would you serve it? For me, it'd be a red sauce. It was the first thing I learned to really make was my mom's red sauce recipe. And I always like making it. I'm always super excited. Anytime anyone like in my close unit, so not just family, but like friends and like really close friends of people I care about, anytime they have a baby, I always make a huge pot of it and throw some sausage in there, just give it to them. It's an easy way to say like, hey, you don't have to worry about dinner at least for a couple of nights because I make huge portions of it. So I think that would be it. It's a good question. Who is that? Emmanuel. I like it. White oil is a highly refined Packers Tech oil. It's a mineral oil, and it does a great job of lubricating without creating or without gumming up. For people who, when you grind something, some people will use olive oil to grind it, but it tends to gum up everything, and it's not a great option. This has no taste, no nothing. It's just super simple way to keep everything lubricated. And the bonus to it is it makes cleaning so much easier. I actually spray white oil into my lugs now because it makes it a lot easier to clean. So I just stuffed those down there in there. Those are the stuffer flusher eggs. Just a really malleable little egg-shaped thing that's gonna help us get all of the meat we can possibly get out of there into the casing. Make a sausage out of it. So there you go, we were done. Stuffer flusher egg got us another, what? Sausage and a half kind of out of that. Or one ultra big one. We'll just cook that one like that. Advantages of natural casings over any type of collagen casing, synthetic casing, anything like that. When I cut this, it's going to keep its shape really well, right? It's gonna keep looking like we would expect the outside of a sausage to look. If we were using collagen casings, as soon as we cut it, all of that's coming unraveled. So this is a nice, more traditional look, and I feel like since we're going so non-traditional with the ingredients on a Weisswurst, we owed it to do everything we could to keep it looking a little bit more traditional. Plus, in general, it doesn't always happen, but I've had it happen to me numerous times. If you're using collagen casings and then using the sausage in some other dish, like if I make spicy Italian sausage, for example, and then I add that to my red sauce, I am gonna see some of that casing melt away. It just happens. Natural casings don't do that as much. So Advantage of collagen, though, is you take them out of the package that you get them in, put them on the stuffing tube, and you're good to go. They also are nice and straight. They don't have any odor to them, whereas these are some pretty stinky casings. I'm not gonna lie. We had these, and I went around and asked, hey, does anyone want to see how bad a casing can smell and still be good? And it won't taste like anything. It's just an odor. It'll come right out when we cook it. But I remember when I was working for our customer service department many years ago, that's one of the things that we would get a lot of questions on. And I think it was Dylan who showed me what like actually spoiled casing smelled like. And good Lord, is that nasty. Emulsified, no. No, Weisswurst does not need to be emulsified. Is it usually cured? It can be, but it absolutely doesn't have to be. Its ingredients are the most important part, and it's very, very simple ingredients. But no, technically, like when we send a package of Weisswurst, we don't include a package of SureCure. There are, I think, 2 products that we send out with the SureCure that can be made like more traditionally either way. It's one of the andouilles, and it's not a kielbasa, but it's something like that. Something like a kielbasa. Maybe it's the Swedish potato sausage. That might be it. All right, so we're clearly not going to get all of these in that pot I've got going out there, so we're going to select a few of the best ones. I'm going to take our long stuffer flusher egg one. Make sure that gets in there. And then we've got, let's grab 3 or 4 other ones. Not that one. And that one. All right. I'll bring you guys with me. And sorry to disappoint everybody, but the keys are already outside, so you won't be seeing me get locked out tonight. Oh, wow, it's dark out here. Yeah, this is going to stop working. Daylight savings time. Interesting. All right, there's no reason to have you guys out here. I'm going to bring you back in this way, and I'm going to go throw these in that hot water, and I'll be right back. Oop. Entertain each other. Tell a funny story about what it's like to watch your team lose every weekend. I'm sure people will enjoy that. All right. Set a timer. And we're going to cook these for 10 minutes. We want to make sure we get them up to at least 165. It's because we've got chicken in there. Now again, traditional would be with veal, so it wouldn't be as much of a concern. But with chicken, obviously, we need to cook to 165, not just the 160. Let me get these in a cooler real quick. And I will be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't account for the fact that it's darker here earlier now that we still do daylight savings time for some reason. I absolutely despise daylight savings time. And we've still got people here doing, what are those? There's a bunch of sausages in here that I didn't know about. All right, sorry about that, guys. Our shipping department is still here making sure every package that you guys ordered today gets sent out. They work super hard. So hopefully when you get your packages, you appreciate that. All right, I'll show you how hard it is to get this thing unstuck. it is a very, very tight seal on those suction cup feet. Let me start checking out chat. Get some of this chicken off of my computer. All right. You hope Dylan and Brett don't let you have any of... Did you give them sausage and I was supposed to get some of it? Is that what's in there? No. No. Unless you gave them about 10 pounds, that's not yours. While we're sitting here, does anyone have any questions about general sausage making, general meat processing, or any of our upcoming sales? Because we are in sale season. I mean, we're there. What did that say? Couldn't it be easier to slice the side of the table? Oh, you're talking about the stuffer to bolt it down or to use a wood clamp. That's what I used to do. But depending on what you're making, especially if it's snack sticks, that rocking back and forth will eventually kind of work that loose. With the suction cup feet, that thing's not going anywhere. If you use the 30-pound or 20-pound electric, that's not a problem, right? Because there's no back and forth motion on it. I make a lot of sausage just by myself, so I have a tendency to look for weird little interesting things that I can do. That's kind of what came out of the stuffer flusher eggs, though that wasn't really my idea. There was a Meatgistics user called Dr. Payne. He was the one who suggested that, and that thing's awesome. I love those things. I want to know why I have different chats on my phone than I do on my laptop. I'm probably just not scrolled correctly somewhere. Yeah, that's interesting. I have more chats on my phone than I do on there. Will I get my gift card by Thanks Black Monday? You know what, Tex? We're going to handle that right now. You've been patient enough. What Tex is talking about there, a couple of live streams back, I had 2 or 3 pork butts, and everybody had to guess how much the total weight would be. And if anyone nailed it dead on, they were going to get a gift card. I told Tex, or Tex guessed it exactly, and I haven't sent it to him yet. So we're going to do that right now. Gift certificate, and we said it was going to be $20. So I will get that to you. I heard you try to tell somebody it was $200, which we both know is a lie. Copy that. I'm useless on a computer without a mouse. There we go. Code will be whatever, $20. Retail store in case you come in. And I sent you a message as well. All right. You should have that. I apologize it took so long. No interest. No interest. You get what you get. I could go invalidate that code right now if I wanted to. I don't want to, though. We are going to be doing our yearly Thanks Black Monday live stream on December 1st this year. That's where Austin and I sit around here for about 5 hours answering questions, putting things on flash sales, and inviting in guests. We'll have all the usuals. Brett will come on. Dylan, I think, will come on for a while. Our product manager, Andrew, will come on. And a few other people, just to spell us and break up the monotony for those of you who sit here for a long time. We also will do a ton of giveaways, games, and things like that. So that is our biggest sale day of the year. If you've been looking for a grinder, a mixer, a stuffer, a vacuum sealer, you can pretty much guarantee that it will be on sale that day if it's a retail piece of equipment. Our Thanks Black Monday sale is a combination of 3 sales. Thanksgiving, which is this year, is going to go from the 19th, to the 1st. And then our Black Friday sale, which goes from Black Friday to the 1st, and then Cyber Monday, which is Cyber Monday only. Things will be on sale all day. It is our biggest day of the year. We call it Big Monday, all sorts of different names here. And it is the day we spend a lot of time getting ready for. So we're starting to talk about what we want that live stream to look like. Hopefully it's a lot of fun. It'll be very different than these. These are very slapdash thrown together and it's just me. Those are many more people involved. So you won't have to sit here and just listen to me. All right, sweet. So Tex, you got your gift card. Happy for you. Let me run out real quick and just get the temperature on those. And I have to bring a flashlight with me. And there are the keys. That almost went bad. Although there is somebody here now. All right, we are at 140. There's a couple more minutes. And unfortunately, we're not going to go back out there, even though the patio lights did come on. But we're almost done. Just a couple more minutes and we'll come back in here and eat them. Tex has been on those for forever. I don't see him tonight, but ND Mike is usually here. He joins us on those live streams. They're a good time. It's a little exhausting by the end of it, but it is one of the more fun things we get to do every year. We have a good time with it. Papa Sop, what's going on? Did you toss the leftover casings after you stuffed them? Yeah, there was about, if I extended it out, probably about this much left. If I really had a long amount of them, I would put them back in with the rest of the salt solution, and that would, or salt and salt solution, and that would be fine. But on these ones, there was no need to do that. It was such a small amount, but they absolutely can be saved after you've already gone through, and that's a good point. I wanted to make absolutely sure I had enough casings. So I've got another full run in here, and I will go grab that bag and get them back on some salt. I do need to dry them out a little bit first though. So we'll put them in here for just about 10 or 15 minutes to make sure all the excess moisture is off of them. If we don't do that, we run the risk of causing some problems just with the other casings in there. Tap that and let that get out of here. Anybody making anything this year for out of their deer, elk, wild game that they're super excited about? I will have hopefully a deer here in the beginning portions of December. So with that, I plan on making almost exclusively sausage. I'm going to keep the back straps. I'm going to keep the tenderloins. Everything else this year is going to go into some sort of just regular sausage. I'm going to make chili dogs out of them, and I'm going to make Hatch green chili deer sausage. I think those are two of my favorite non-snack stick flavored sausages to do with deer. For snack sticks, I really like the taco. Works really well with deer meat for whatever reason. Willie's obviously is a really good one. But I haven't tried the rustic French onion with deer yet. I just don't know if I trust those two tastes to go together. The 3 times now that I've made venison jerky with the peppery au jus, it's good, but it's just so much different than what it tastes like with beef. If you're making beef jerky, the Walton's peppery au jus jerky seasoning is unbelievable. But with deer, it's not quite the same. Now, if I hadn't had the beef peppery au jus, I might think differently, right? Like if I didn't have anything to compare it to, but I do. Keith, I have so much jerky, it's ridiculous. I'm not jerkied out, that's not true, but after I lost my deep freeze, so 6 months ago or so, I just bought a quarter of a beef with a couple of the Waltons here. So we bought one whole cow and split it up in quarters. And I think less than 2 months later, my whole deep freeze went out. So I'm still recovering from that. So I'm not trusting anything too much. So jerky's an easy way for me to make things and just store them. And I know they're good. All right, let's check those again. Ooh, that sour is giving me a little like indigestion or something. All right, that one's done. Since these have chicken in them, we will go ahead and temp every single one of them. That big one might be a problem. Nope, that one's good. All right. Everything in between 160 and 170, so we are good to go. All right, so not terribly far off from what a traditional Weisswurst would look like. Definitely not fully accurate, not comic book accurate, but I mean, that's in the right vicinity, right? We want it to be a nice light whitish color. Needs to be whiter than that, but taste should still be pretty excellent. Weisswurst, by the way, is no more appetizing than this. Like, if you make it with veal, it's still a fairly unappetizing looking sausage. So we didn't lose much by switching that out. Or we didn't lose much from the appearance standpoint when we switched veal for a mixture of beef and chicken. This is the Nashville hot mustard from Terrapin Ridge Farms. It's good on almost everything. Just give ourselves a little, cool that down a tad. I mean, there's a reason it's a classic. Is it as good as it is normally with the veal? No. I mean, veal is excellent. It's delicious. There's a reason people have been doing that to calves for forever. That's because it makes meat taste better. But, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I don't really have a problem with the fact that it's a calf. I more have a problem with the fact that its movement is restricted. And if I can do something just a little bit different and get 85, 90% of the taste, I don't have to involve myself in something like that, I'm okay with it. That's a trade-off I'll make. There is another mustard in here I want to try. Where are you? Hickory. So this is the Granny's homemade mustards. This is the hickory one. Let's see what that taste like. These are really, really good mustards. They're in cute little bare containers, but their hickory is absolutely phenomenal. Just gives it a little bit of that nice smokiness flavor. And that is absolutely delicious. All right, so I've got a ton of cleanup to do. So does anyone have any questions? We do have a coupon going right now. It's the same one we were using on our live stream at the end of the month. So if you already used it, you won't be able to use it again. But if you haven't used it, it is Orange Fall 2025, something like that. I just need to look that up because there's a good chance I'm going to forget it or just be wrong. Yep. Orange Fall 2025. Let me toss that in chat for you. So that'll get you 10% off any Walton's product that's not currently on sale. And right now we don't have a ton of items that are on sale. We're gearing up for our big sale that starts on the 19th. So right now, smaller items. All right, well, if nobody has any questions, anything like that, I will see you guys on, well, I'll talk to some of you on Friday on the podcast. No live stream next Monday. I'm going to be out in California playing golf. Then the following Monday, Allie and I will have just been gotten back from a hunting trip, a pheasant hunting trip. So we should have some pheasant. So we're going to find something to do with that. That ties into our ultimate upland kit. So this is a box of upland hunting seasonings, accessories that we did with the flush. So we'll make something out of this. Might not be something on that recipe card because all of those things tend to take a really long time, but we'll make something. All right, I will see you guys next time.